Hello everyone, how you doing today? I just finished a internship meeting with students as part of being an internship course lecturer. And since the company I visited is located quite close to my home, I've decided to walk home. So the nice thing about Fumihung is that Nam Saigon is that there are actually places to walk, like, you know, actual walking paths and sidewalks. So I'm taking advantage of that opportunity, and I'm gonna take advantage of some vitamin D, especially because I've been sick the last couple of days, and I just need to get some vitamin D, get some sun to recharge myself. Sadly, for the apartment that I've been living in, I've been having some trouble with the management there because for a number of days, 6 days to be exact, they cut off my elevator use, and also they decreased our water supply, so we're barely getting a drip out of the sink. And with the great things that happen here, there's also stuff that isn't so good that happens, but that's anywhere you go, nothing's ever perfect. So we're working through this, and hopefully this will be settled by the local government, because the builders and the people who do the, say, property management have been horrible and have been treating us very unkindly, even though we pay our electricity bills and our water bill consistently every month. It's yeah, it's kind of sad that this happens, but again, it could happen anywhere. So hopefully these types of things don't happen again. I hope that the government and the authorities take this very seriously so that it doesn't impact people living here, and also impact foreigners from coming here and enjoying living in Vietnam. So hopefully some minor headaches for what we hope to be a much improved and better place in the future. So yeah, that's part of it. And it's definitely impacted my studies, my PhD studies as well, because it's things that you have to think about and things you have to deal with, and it takes away your focus and your mental strength to focus on the task at hand, which is the research. And a number of things, number of life things have actually impacted that. So it's not solely this issue with the building managers, but life goes on. I've just got to straighten myself, get in better health, and get back on the PhD dissertation. I've just got one year left to finish writing the dissertation, and then obviously defending it through an examination. And I feel like I've turned the corner. I have a better understanding of the research, and now I just got to make sure that I present my investigation and my argument so that it meets the standards of a doctorate. And so I'm getting there. But of course, me being the creative that I am, I'm gonna do it in a somewhat creative fashion. And doing my PhD through RMIT, or the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Melbourne, and through this program called the Practice Research Symposium, or PRS, in Asia, is allowing me to focus my PhD on my practice, which is the practice of screenwriting. And so I'm able to do not only a creative research artifact, which is a feature-length screenplay, but I'm also going to write my dissertation in a creative, critical manner. So it's just not going to be in the form of a essay, of a traditional dissertation in the form of an essay, but I'm going to write it creatively. So in a multi-layered format, as a screen story, and also in the form of a screenplay. So that should be very interesting. I've drafted a couple of chapters, but I'm trying to figure out now just figure out my voice, figuring out I'm gonna put it down in kind of multiple forms. So once I do that, then I'll be able to then focus in on the critical chapters, which are obviously, what is my investigation about? What is the practice? What is the conceptual lens with I'm going to look at my work through, and also the methodology in which I will basically test my work, gather the data, and then to analyze the data. And I'm fortunate in that through this very long journey, I've done different types of experiments, but I've also been able to write the screenplay that I've always wanted to write. And I'm extremely happy with how that turned out. So at the very end, I have a research artifact that I'm super, super happy about, that given a chance, I would love to produce that screenplay into a feature film. But of course, that all has to wait until I finish my dissertation. But I can lay some of the groundworks, meet people, and hopefully get the screenplay read, and maybe drum up some interest, some potential funding for the film. And so hopefully by the time that I finish my PhD, I'll already have the ball rolling to then transition over to producing the film. And even if the film doesn't get funded or get made, it will exist as a research artifact for other screenwriters, screenwriting academics, or diasporic Vietnamese academics and researchers to actually read. So it will have a function and will exist on its own rather than being just a blueprint for a film. So that's the beauty of realizing the screenplay through my creative research PhD. So it's been and a very intense journey. I've obviously done a lot of wandering as well. And part of the wandering, I think, is necessary because if I look back, I would have to admit that the screenplay that I've written is, in my mind at least, much better than what it could have been had I just written it when I first heard of the story, back in 2008, 2009. So I'm very happy with how it's progressed into a screenplay. And hopefully through sharing about the process in which I've gone to write the screenplay and the reflexive practice of not only writing about and doing research about the writing of the screenplay, it has greatly informed how I've written the screenplay. So they've both kind of reflexively impacted the other. And so I'm looking forward to sharing this knowledge with everyone. And one of the key new knowledge that I've generated is a new approach for writing a screenplay about the other. So, and it's an amalgamation of all the things that I've obviously experienced as a screenwriter, but also of what others have done as well to inspire me approaching the writing of a screenplay in this manner. And so I hope when it's all said and done, I'll be able to share this with other screenwriters, particularly other screenwriters who write about a character who is another, and to do it in a way that really resonates with audiences, and particular the reader, who may then either give a recommend for that screenplay that may result in it getting greenlit and packaged and hopefully produced. And if I were ever to only make one more film, one or two more films, this is the one I really want to make. This could be easily my swan song, and I'll be perfectly happy. So we'll see. Life's an adventure. We don't know where it's gonna go, what other opportunities and doors it opens up. And I may end up doing other things like making short form films. I may end up just continuing my Old Dad Discovers channel, which would make me perfectly happy as well, because it's been a great joy to do this and to share it with people who are interested in what I have to say and the knowledge that I have, and even the ups and downs that I experienced living and working here in Vietnam. And I'm not afraid to share that, sometimes there are trials and tribulations. Not everything's rosy, as with the story with the building management. But hey, that's life. We get through it. We learn from it. We learn to avoid certain things as well. Try to steer clear of these situations or push through it, okay? And I think at the end of the day, we'll come out on top. We just have to be resilient and persevere. Yeah. Vietnam is an interesting place in that way. But again, it's a place of growth and lots of potential. Things constantly being built, new ideas being tested, new markets opening. So it's a young country with lots of dogs. So look, a house being built. Every corner there's something being built, something going up. Lots of noise. That's one thing for sure. And it always makes realizing films a bit challenging because there's always so much construction going on. And 1 minute it's quiet, and then the next minute there's like blowers, there's hammering, there's pouring cement, dropping off equipment, etc. So, yeah. So, yeah, so besides the screenwriting, research has been such a pleasure, you know, in the sense that I'm getting to read about a lot of things, learning a lot of new things. Tough to understand sometimes, because the way that people write research in the form of essays, they're very dense and difficult to read. And I don't know why a lot of research papers are like that. But fortunately, in the creative practice field, and again, through the PRS, there's an openness to new ways of realizing research dissertations. And so I'm following in the footsteps of a lot of people who've done extremely creative research PhDs. And so I have them to lean on and to potentially justify why I'm writing my dissertation in the form of a screen story and also as a screenplay. So, all good. Sometimes it's good not to be the first because then you face a lot of roadblocks and a lot of dead ends like this one. So now I'm gonna turn around. But yeah, so definitely a lot of works to refer to, and I hope my dissertation is extremely accessible, easy to read, or I would say easier to read than most, and that people who find it and read it find some value in it, because I'm gonna do it under the methodology of what Carolyn Ellis, one of the key people in the autoethnography field, she calls it evocative autoethnography, which means that it's written in a way that evokes emotions. And there's nothing wrong with a research project or a research PhD being therapeutic for the person who is realizing it. So mine is going to be not only informative, but therapeutic. And it's going to help me move forward and be a stronger person, a stronger researcher. And through that, I hope that others will be able to learn from my own work to understand the culture that I'm writing about, which is Vietnamese or overseas Vietnamese who are then emplaced, what I call emplaced here in Vietnam, and the impact on the local culture and the local, I would say not even local, but on Vietnamese culture, Vietnamese heritage, and even Vietnamese screenwriting and cinema. So that's what I'll share with through my PhD. So I appreciate you all listening, and I'll continue to do these little health walks to contribute to my pursuit of the six-pack abs, but overall health by walking and talking. That helps to hopefully stave away mental illnesses or mental issues like Alzheimer's and dementia. All right, thank you everyone, and I'll catch you on the next episode. If you haven't already done so, then please like, subscribe, and share to Old Dad Discovers. And if you're interested in food, you can also like, share, and subscribe to my wife's channel, which is called Mẹ Trẻ Bố Già, or Young Mom and Old Dad, where she shares about cooking. And she's been doing very well with her channel. And once in a while, I make a special appearance as the thumbs up guy, or as the person who tests her food. And let me tell you, it's quite excellent. I am a super lucky person. All right, cheers. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Old Dad Discovers.